There are two major schools of thought when it comes to modeling a human head. One of them is called box modeling. In box modeling, what I do is I start with a polygon primitive cube. I take that cube and I scale it up so that it blocks out the shape of my head. Maybe like that. Then in my Shift right click menu, I run the smooth command. That gives me a few more vertices, as you can see. Now I can start taking these vertices, and one set at a time, getting the shape of the head a little bit more specific. The nice thing about box modeling is that it builds the shape of the head right into your base shape. So I can take this, let me turn on Object X Symmetry, and I can really start just kind of building out the shape of my character without having to do any additional work. So that's the good thing about box modeling. I'd take that one step further. I'm going to smooth it one more time. That is my Shift right click menu and smooth. You can see each time you smooth, you lose a little bit of volume, but it's easy enough to fix. And now I've basically got a head shape. If I were going to continue with box modeling, I would have to start taking the areas where the eye socket is, maybe like this, and extruding them with an offset, and it gets pretty complicated pretty quickly. So I'm going to take this, I might make a couple of little tweaks to it here while I've got a chance. Maybe pull the back of the head up a little bit. So this gives me a really nice head shape, but it's pretty tough to actually model the face because the face just doesn't lend itself to a box shape. So if this is a box model, I'm going to stop it here. I'll call that box model. I will stick it on a layer and turn it off. The other method for human head modeling builds the model right into the base shape. For this, I'm going to pull up the modeling toolkit, which I know is a little weird. It's not something that I do very often. And the reason that I'm going to do it is the only tool that you really need for this mesh-based model we're going to make is this tool called Quad Draw. In Quad Draw, what I can do is I can come into my reference image and I can just start laying down points. Start Quad Draw again. And you'll see that Quad Draw is fighting with me a little bit. It really wants me to have a surface selected. And here's what Quad Draw is meant for. It's meant for retopologizing, so taking a large model, like a sculpt that you've done in ZBrush or Mudbox, and reducing the amount of geometry in it. But because I've got this nice box model here, I'm going to actually use Quad Draw to do the opposite. I'm going to use Quad Draw to increase the amount of geometry in this model so that I can build a face onto here. I've got my box model selected. I am going to come here where it says No Live Surface and just click this little horseshoe icon. That makes this live. A live surface is an object that I can draw on with other tools. So now when I start Quad Draw, I can go through and outline the eye with points. Anytime I've got 4 points, I can hold down my Shift key and that will make a face. And of course, you can build on faces you've already got. So I just have to go through my eye and outline a little bit. As a rule, anytime you're modeling anything, you want to try to keep your faces as low as you possibly can. So I might not build the tear duct at this point. I might just go through and generally outline the eye. And then maybe come through with another row of points Let's just get some faces out here. And again, I'm using the shape of the face, but I'm also using that red area that I drew. So I should be able to make a nice little outline of the eye. I've got soft select on, and that's why you see all of these pretty colors happening sometimes. And I've also got symmetry on, so I'm doing both sides at once. If I turn symmetry off, that will go away. Other fun things that I can do while I am in QuadDraw. The Shift key will allow me to relax existing edges. So if I don't like the shape something is taking, I can just hold down Shift and drag and relax. And the Control key will allow me to insert edges. So I can hold down Control and click here to put an edge right there. So that's going to give me this lovely set of loops that go around my eye. That looks pretty good. And now it looks like my model is wearing a weird mask. So before I go any further, I'm going to stop here and let you go through and try making a base mesh using box modeling, and then try making that base mesh live and using QuadDraw to block out some nice little masky eyes.